Okay, now it should be able to work now. Let me know. Let me know if you got audio now. Okay, great, great. One moment. Just bear with me now. Okay, there we go. And good morning to Marco. Bear with me. Okay, great. I'm not sure what it was. I did try hooking it into a different, whatever you call it, a port or whatever. But anyway, nonetheless, let's go and get going. We'll go on and jump into the main screen. And we did see a pretty good yank down here in the NASDAQ. As we did see, it looks like the Democrats, looks like they probably took one of the seats. Let me take a look at the news. I was pretty up late watching the news, very, very late. But the way it's going, it looks like they could keep on. Oh, wow. Ossoff leaves Purdue now. Oh, wow. Hold on. And let's see here. Oh, wow. Yeah. So Ossoff is now leading. Okay. So we did go and take that dip here. In light of that, and you see what we did going in rally. We've kind of broken lower here into that 12,541 here into some key support here. Let's go and take a look at what we sit with the with FX. And you can see here the euro doing pretty well, still staunchly higher here at 23.49. Current price is actually 23.30, but you can see here we've got that 23.49. Actually, just about almost tagged it. It looks like. Hold on. Hi. Looks like 23.46. I had 23.49 for that stretch that we talked about. Take a look at the cable. Nearly pushed that 37 here. And Aussie, wow, new highs in Aussie. Holy smokes. Almost 78 cents. Dollar CAD. That thing is a dog. Look at that. And dollar yen. Pushing those lows also. We're going in, pull up the news here. Well, first off, let's go on and pull up the calendar. Obviously, we had a slow start with the technical issues, but coming into the 6th, you can see here we had French consumer confidence as well as Spanish services PMI. Came in pretty much in line, although services PMI was a little bit stronger for Spain. Italian PMI, oh, much weaker here. And not sure why this hasn't come up. You can see here the German services PMI. Nothing came up in here, but we've already had the Eurozone PMI numbers come in, but they're final PMIs, just a tad bit weaker. And then we have UK data coming in at the bottom of the hour. And then at the top of this next hour, we do have Eurozone producer prices. Coming into the States, we will have Germany CPI. That's going to be at 8 a.m. Eastern. And then for the states, we'll have ADP employment report, as well as final PMI figures on that, and ISM New York Index. We have quite a bit of data here. Durable goods and factory orders are going to be out also. Quite a bit of data. But the ADP at 8:15 Eastern. Let's go and take a look at the news. We hadn't had a chance to hit Bitcoin, but tag Bitcoin. But wow, look at that! Bitcoin breaks above $35,000 to touch a new high. Bitcoin traded above $35,000 for the first time in Asia on Wednesday, rising to a high of 35,879 and extended a rally that has seen the digital currency rise more than 800% since mid-March. The world's most popular cryptocurrency crossed the $20,000 mark for the first time on December 16th, and let's move this here. So we got up to 35,900. Here we are breaking down. So we've broken down. Wow, we are really coming under some pressure here. Dropped $2,000 in short order. Look at that. Breaking the lows. We can go and take a look at it here. Pretty good little fall here off of that after breaking above. And here's Ethereum. Did make it up to 1140, also breaking down. They both hit highs at the same time, breaking down here. And the Canadian dollar notches the biggest gain in 7 months as oil surges. Canadian dollar strengthened to a near 3-year high against its U.S. counterpart on Tuesday as the price of oil, Canada's major exports, jumped nearly 5% as Wall Street rebounded. The Canadian dollar took back all the losses and more from Monday's session, said Michael Goshko. The move was fueled by a surge in oil prices and in broad commodities and a bounce back in equities. And dollar squeeze as Georgia counts crucial Senate votes. The U.S. dollar took a breather from its steady descent, but could only entirely escape selling pressure in Asia on Wednesday as traders look to the outcome of the Senate election in Georgia to drive the next move in the market sentiment. The dollar dropped through the major support level against the Japanese yen. The euro also pulled back from a 32-month peak of 123.28. But as we noted, the euro was trading there at 23, right there at that level anyway, close to the 23.49 we had looked at for our secondary resistance. Democrats, the Australian New Zealand dollars kept pressure on the greenback. Democrats will control both houses of Congress if they win both Georgia's Senate seats up for contest. The prospect of the Democratic agenda becoming law pushed bond yields to up and U.S. stock futures down in anticipation of higher government borrowing, higher taxes, and more tech regulation. Clear outcome in Georgia could arrive as early as Wednesday morning in the United States, although the tightness of the count suggests it may take longer. Michael J. Pinebridge of Investments, head of multi-assets, said that even a sweep might not be enough to shift the greenback from a pronounced downtrend. Rising taxes and regulation will not cure today's weak dollar, he said in an email. And lastly, on sterling. Sterling edged higher for a second consecutive session on Wednesday as the dollar weakened after the Democrats took the lead in the runoff votes that would determine control of the U.S. Senate. Market watchers believe a Democratic-controlled Senate will help the economic growth globally and thus riskier assets drag down bonds and the dollar, as the U.S. budget and trade deficits would likely grow. With the market, medium to long-term view still pointing towards a back to normal trade, downside in the pound should be limited. Well, here we go. And with that, let's just go on and start the analysis. We had a delay this morning with the technical issues with the audio. And you can see this Bitcoin is really coming off here. We up here at 35,900. Here we're at 32,800. It's already off $2,000. Let's go into the euro. Well, you can see here with the euro, we had 22.84 and 23.49. Here's that 23.49. We come pretty close to it. We'll pull this back up here, stretch it out. And you can see right there, 23.49. That's going to be our resistance. Support in the meantime, and you can see that key weekly level of 284. Support in the meantime is going to be right there, 22.55. Onto the cable. Cable's still looking pretty stout here. We did look like we did finally get up there and tag that 37.09. We've actually come up here. Let's see how high we come in here. We're into the daily. We're still trying to push up against that 37.09. Not sure how much further they'll try and push. I mean, we've already had this run, and still the dollar's having trouble. And I like the close here on that body there. And that's actually holding right now, which is going to be 36.63. There's 36.64, so that's fine. We'll keep that. With support remaining at 34.95. Let's go and move now into the Aussie dollar. This thing is something else. Look at that. 78 cents. Oh, my goodness. Resistance now would be right at the top of that wick, which is 78.08. We're going to go right. There it is right there. 78.11. So 78.11, we'll go with that. This thing is on one kind of a tear. And for support, pretty clear. You can see these wicks here and that low. That's actually going to be support there, 77.31, which is actually the day's low. This is something else. Onto the Kiwi. These moves are unbelievable. I can't even believe it. I'm not even joking. You can see the wick here, the black one, and then the wicks coming across here would come up with right there. Well, it's actually where we're at, 72.98. So that's where we're going to go with 72.98. Those weekly wicks are right there. So Whether you can get above it, we'll find out. But that's it. Resistance 72.98. And moving to the daily. Let's pull up a 2-hour chart. This is crazy. Look at that. That is just unbelievable. $72.40. Onto the dollar CAD. Well, remember at the beginning of the week we had it down to potentially could have gone down to 26. I think it was 26.12. Sounds crazy now, but wow. So we've already been to 26.45. Hang on. Mm. I just don't know if we can break again here. And we're already trying to hold it, trying to defend it a bit here. Let's take a look here in the daily. They took this dip down here. And I don't know why this is 27.20. That actually would have been. These aren't even right. I don't even know why it's showing. It's like as if this thing is not even updated even correctly here. Because those aren't even yesterday's. Let me take a look here with yesterday's. Bear with me. That's what's showing it was at. That's going to be, I just don't know if we can hold this area here. We'll just go with 26.32. And on the upside, this thing is horrible. I mean, unbelievable. It's going to be 27.13. And onto the peso. We're trying to hold here, but support if we do try and break a lower again. We're holding. We had the 1978. So far, we've had 1977. We'll stick with this 1978. And on the upside, the only difference is that this is going to be limited to 1996. From there on to the Japanese yen. Same thing here, new lows again, or tagging them. We're trying to hold that. We're going to go with 252. Resistance would be 329. And then with the cash dollar index, 89.12 still holds here. And differences on the upside. Upside resistance would be right there at 89.91. Call it 89.92. That will go to the Kiwi yen. This Kiwi is something else. I don't even have words for it. That thing just keeps motoring along. Right there, 75.11. With support. Right there, 74.34. Moving on to the Euro pound. After really breaking the lows for the week, we turn around and rip them all the way right back up. Resistance is going to be 90.56. We have that in place now. And support's going to be right there. It is 89.99. Onto the Euro odd. We have broken lower here. We're having to go to weekly charts now, even to try and find some semblance of support here. And you can see the bodies here coming across on the weekly. Comes in right there at 57. Let's see. Right there, 57.73. Resistance right now is going to be right there, 58.78. And onto the Euro Kiwi. You can see this body coming here and confluence right there with this body at 68.92. And onto the daily. Right there. 69.58. And moving on to the ASEAN. I mean, this is just since November, we've rallied 800 handles. That's just unbelievable here. The next resistance. This is crazy. You can't even pull it out because it doesn't even pull out far enough because it's pulling out on the weekly. Right there at the top of these wicks comes in at 80.38. Right there with that wick. Let's take a look at a 2-hour chart. $79.75. And onto the guppy. Support you can see is coming in right across here, which is going to be 39.32. We had 39.29. That put that 39.32. And resistance. This another one that just jumped up right here. This lower wick here, coming across, actually comes in actually almost right there at the high, which is 41.34. And starting nod. Going to go with the low here. I mean, we just keep making new lows every day. 74.23. With resistance up at that wick right there, which is 75.89. Move this out of the way. And we'll just take a quick look at the euro. Still holding pretty steady. 23.49 is that upper area. We'll move this out of the way also. And take a look at the NASDAQ. There we go. So we've seen that breakdown. This is a pretty key area, this 25.41, but any moves back, we would look for a more extended correction from here. Realistically, we're be looking towards this 38%, which would be down here to 12,395. We'll have to see how the market wants to react once they open up today, but certainly we'll be looking for a move back down, potentially down here to this 12,300. And take a look at Bitcoin. Same thing. We've already shed off, like I said, almost $2,000 here off of these highs. Let's take a quick look at the S&Ps. Don't really follow the S&Ps much anymore. Don't really see the point in it. I mean, we'll look. It's been holding up here, but my focus is really on the NASDAQ. So they do at times will trade differently, and we've seen those variances between the two. And you can see the S&P is just kind of like almost meandering here. You can see there's no real sense of direction. You can see how the NASDAQ had reached up higher, and you can see this variance that we see here Hence why I don't spend too much time working with the S&Ps. You can see here, look how we made this NASDAQ trading perfect technicals here, and then breaking back, and the S&P just kind of all over the road here. But it does look like it's open, that it could quickly break down, head for that 3650, but realistically it'd be around 3624. What was it, 3621 down here, a break. But the real support's not going to come until, looks like about 3590, 3585 right down here. We'll take a look at the overall equities. And you can see this gap lower in Microsoft, gap lower in Amazon, gap lower in Facebook. Facebook is below that key level. We can take a look at the dailies. We haven't gone below the 267, but you can see there's a little bit of trouble here. Gap here in NVIDIA, gap here, right there. You can see there's Google there. And you can see Tesla still holding up very well. Look at that, just slightly lower. We're still holding up here near these highs. We did see PayPal gap lower here. Move that to a daily. And let's take a look at Peloton. A little bit lower here. eBay. Same thing, a little bit of a gap move, a little minor gap lower, not a whole lot of anything great significance. Take a look where gold is standing here. We did get that run up here in gold. Nothing overly dramatic, but we did talk about that push higher. We pushed up, not as much as we would have expected, but still a push nonetheless. So we'll see how we come into the session, into the New York session. Sorry about the technical difficulties we encountered earlier. We'll get the buys chart posted, and we'll see you in the chat room. And thanks for joining us here on the European Crossover webinar.